Hello, this is Rakesh Rao from DesignSense Software Technologies, Bangalore. In this CADPower video, I'm going to show you our whole table or whole chart command. In the CADPower menu, you can go to the Draw section, and under that in Rule Based, you will find Draw Whole Table. You can start it on the command line also by typing cp_whole table. The next question it asks you is to select a closed polygon for the whole table frame. So I'm going to select this, which is my whole table frame. So you can see inside this whatever is there is going to be calculated in the whole table. So the first thing that you need to specify is the whole table export file, which is a CSV file, and the same information from the CSV is displayed in the whole table in the drawing as well. The dimensioning method is the next important parameter to set, and you can choose there are different types of dimensioning like linear dimensioning from origin, ordinate dimensioning, hole to hole, and so on. You can also draw the center marks, which is optional, and you can also create dimension line extension from the center of the hole. So I'm just going to switch it off so that my whole table is going to look a little cleaner. These two parameters are important. These are the distances from the whole table frame to the first dimension and subsequent dimensions. If you know the distances, you can type it here, or if you don't know, you can just say show distance, just measure this distance, and with this you can approximately put some value here. So I'm going to round it off as say 100 and 120, which means my first distance of 100 and the subsequent dimension is 120. Label text height, I'm going to increase it to 20. So all these things you don't have to remember, you just have to do some trial and error and find out what is the best one for you. The sorting direction and increment type are important. You can label the holes by numeric numbers or by characters, and you can make it in the ascending X or Y direction. Both options are possible. The origin scale factor, so I'm going to put it as 30. This is the scale factor for the origin block, which comes here at the lower left hand side. Now I am more or less done. One last thing, the file export format. So by default it's the CSV XY quantity. We also have two customized formats for manufacturing. One is called milling XY and the other one is for Siemens subprogram. So this is a specialty of the whole table command. We can incorporate your specific output formats here in the command, and for that you will have to get in touch with us and let us know what your format is. So we'll be very happy to just add that format also here. So by default is CSV XY quantity, and then say OK. Pick origin point. You can see that by default it has taken the lower left corner as the origin. You can see that red mark there. So I'm just going to press enter here. Pick point on x-axis of the whole table. So the whole table x-axis by default will be this bottom horizontal line. So I'm just going to click this endpoint here, and now you can see the whole table is being drawn with the dimensions. So the dimensions have been drawn to each hole. Each hole has also been labeled with the ballooned out option, and it's asking now pick point to place whole table. So I'm just going to pick a point somewhere here. Do you want to scale the whole table? Yes, it is too small, so I'm going to scale it. And by how much? So maybe by a factor of 20 is fine. Yeah, so I get something like this. Okay, this is a little too far away, so I'm going to just adjust it nearby. So if you look at these four tables that have been created just now, the first one is a whole table of circular shapes. So here you can see the whole ID, the X and Y, and the diameter. And the next one is a whole table of polygonal shapes. So you can see the whole ID here, X and Y, and the area. And then the quantity table, so whether there are circles or whether there are polylines, so each one will be computed and the quantity will be found. Its diameter and area is noted in this table. Now you can see that the same information has been exported here to the CSV file as well. So if I open it in the CSV file, so exactly whatever information you have seen in the CAD table, so that is exported to the CSV file as well. Now this is a standard thing in all CADPower commands. Most of the commands will export the data as CSV files, and this makes it easy for the CAD data to be used in all the later operations in the Excel and so on. So now let us do a different type of whole table. So in this case, you've seen a frame which has got a series of circles and polygonal frames. So here you can see that there are just points. There are no circles. There will be points inside the rectangle. So sometimes you may end up with these kind of points inside a reference frame, and you want to get a reference table. So let us see how that can be done. So we go again to rule based code table, select closed polygon. So I'm going to select this my closed polygon, and this time I'm going to choose a different dimensioning method which is called Ordinate. The rest of it is fine. Label text height is 20, precision is 3. So it maintains these parameters on a per frame basis. For each frame it's going to maintain these parameters. Origin point is endpoint of this, and the x-axis point is this one. So you can see it has created the dimension here, and the center dimension also is shown here. And I'm going to pick the whole table point here. We want to scale, yes, scale it by about 50, that's fine. So you can see this whole table is now looking different. Whole ID 1 to 13, X, Y, and then remarks. So remarks by default just is put as remarks. You can change the whole ID if you want. So this is another method of doing the whole table by using the ordinate dimensioning. Now the third type I want to show you is when you don't have either circles or polygons or points, but you may have blocks with attributes. So it's often possible, especially in electronic circuits and all that, that people may have different blocks and they may have an attribute. So for example, if you look at this block, so I just double click, so it's a block called slot and it's got an attribute called part name. So the part name is shown here. So likewise, you can have any block with any attribute, and it can be placed inside your frame, and we can generate a whole table. So by the way, the whole table is also available in the ribbon. So if you go to this section here, which is rule based, you can see whole table command is here. So I'm going to select this frame, text height is 20 like before, origin scale factor also let me increase it to say 40. Now here it doesn't matter, but I'm just now going to say ordinate dimension, or I can do hole to hole here, so you can see how the hole to hole thing works. So let us give some 50. So what I need to do is I need to select the block and the attribute name. So I've chosen the block name as slot and the attribute name as part name. So if you choose this, then it will select all the blocks inside the whole table and create the whole table accordingly. Origin point, I'm just going to accept the default. Point on x-axis will be this one. Okay, so you can see it has created the whole table with the hole to hole dimensions now, and I'm going to choose a point here for the table and scale factor of 50. So if you see here, this is a whole table generated with blocks as the input data. So each block and its object type has been shown here, and its quantity also has been mentioned. So you can use this whole table command in different ways. So like I said, you can either use circles, closed polylines, or you can use points, or you can use blocks, and so on. So I know that the whole table means different things to different people, and each person may have their own different way of showing it. We do have many options in this table, so please feel free to experiment and find out. If anything doesn't work the way you think it should work, do let me know and I'll be glad to assist you with that. Thank you.